Some memories feel borrowed, like they didn't happen to us, but to someone else who just left them behind. Tonight, I want to share with you 8 of those memories. They're strange, unsettling, and yet oddly familiar. Let's see which ones stay with you. Memory number 1, the house with no inside. This one starts on an ordinary walk home until the house at the corner revealed what wasn't supposed to be there. I remember this house, but I've never been inside. Not because I wasn't allowed to go in, because there was nothing to go into. I'd walk the same road every day after school. The house sat at the corner, yellow and small, like a postcard someone forgot to send. But no matter how long I stared, through the windows, through the cracks, there was no furniture, no walls, no floor, just white, blinding, empty white. One day, I worked up the nerve. I touched the door, and it opened like it had been waiting for me. I took one step across the threshold and felt gravity forget me. I was falling upward, not fast, not slow, like being lifted by a thought. And then I saw them. Hundreds of people floating in the white, each standing in their own invisible room. Some were crying, some were laughing. One looked directly at me and mouthed, "Go back." So I did. I stepped out. The door shut behind me like a sigh, and the house was gone. No one believed me when I told them. But I swear I remember that place. And sometimes, when the world goes too quiet, I feel like I'm still falling. Some doors lead somewhere, others make you wonder if you were meant to walk away. I still wonder if that house is out there, waiting. Memory number 2, the rain that wasn't wet. Not every storm is made of water. Sometimes rain can remind you that the world might not even be solid. I was maybe 12, 13, walking home, head down, counting the cracks in the sidewalk. It started to rain, sudden, heavy, no warning. I braced for that cold, sticky feeling, but it never came. The drops hit my skin and slid through me, like I was a shadow pretending to be a person. Everyone else on the street was running for cover, holding newspapers over their heads, laughing at the surprise, but not me. I just stood there, because the rain wasn't touching me. I caught one on my fingertip just to be sure. It passed right through, leaving a ripple in the air where my skin should have been. Then I noticed. The world around me was slowing down. Footsteps turned syrup thick. Voices dragged out like old cassette tapes. In that slow, heavy silence, I heard something, a whisper so close it felt like it was inside my head. It said, "We'll try again soon." The next blink, everything was normal. The rain was wet again. I still don't know if it was a dream, a glitch, or some kind of warning, but every time it rains, I find myself waiting for it not to touch me. I can't decide what's worse, that the rain ignored me or that it promised to come back. Next time it storms, I'll be listening. Memory number 3, the door in my closet. Childhood closets hide a lot of fears, but this one hid something that didn't belong in a bedroom. When I was 9, there was a door in my closet. Not a hidden one, not like in a movie. It was just there. Small, wooden, with a brass handle. The weird thing? It wasn't there the day before. At first, I thought my parents installed it while I was at school. Maybe it led to storage or something. But when I opened it, there was nothing. Not darkness, not a wall, just air. Cool, endless air. I tossed in a sock. It didn't hit anything. It didn't land. It just kept going. Every night after that, I'd hear noises coming from it. voices exactly, more like someone shuffling through drawers in another room. Sometimes it would sound closer, like just beyond the threshold. One night, I woke up to find the door was already open. A faint light was spilling out, the color of old photographs. I could see shapes, not human, just shapes, moving slow, like they were studying me. The next morning, the door was gone. The wall was solid again. But sometimes, when I open my closet, I swear I feel cool air brush past my face, like it's waiting to come back. Most people outgrow their fear of the closet. I never did. Sometimes the air still feels too cold when I open it. Memory number 4. The night the stars fell upwards. Looking up at the night sky is supposed to be grounding, but what happens when the stars don't fall down, when they leave us behind instead? It happened on a summer night, one of those perfect, heavy nights where the air feels like warm water. I was lying in the grass, staring at the sky, waiting for the meteor shower they'd been talking about on the news. Except, when it started, the meteors didn't fall down. They rose. One by one, stars began to lift away from their constellations, floating upward like sparks in reverse. The sky didn't get darker, it just got emptier. At first I thought maybe it was some optical illusion, but then I saw the moon move, not across the sky, but away, shrinking, and I swear, I could hear it. A deep, low hum, like the whole universe was breathing in. I tried to run, but my feet felt heavy, like the ground was holding me. Everyone around me, neighbors, strangers, stood frozen, their faces tilted up. No one spoke. And then, just as suddenly, it all snapped back. The stars returned to their places. The moon hung where it always had. The next day, no one mentioned it, like it never happened. But I remember, and every night since, I've wondered, what happens when the sky breathes out again? Every night since, I've stared at the sky and waited. What happens when the universe exhales? Memory number 5, the bridge that wasn't there yesterday. Sometimes the road you've walked 1,000 times offers a detour, one that was never supposed to exist. I walk the same route to the bus stop every morning, always have, but one day, there was a bridge. It arched over a slow black river I'd never seen before, the kind of water that swallows light whole. I stopped at the edge, wondering if maybe I'd just never noticed it. But I knew every crack in this sidewalk, and this wasn't here yesterday. There was a man halfway across, standing perfectly still, looking down into the water. I called out to him. He didn't answer, didn't move. I stepped onto the bridge. The wood groaned under my weight, even though it looked new. With each step, the air felt colder. Halfway across, I glanced over the side and saw not my reflection, but a version of me with eyes wide, mouth open, like they were screaming underwater. When I looked up again, the man was gone. So was the rest of the bridge. I was standing in the middle of an empty road. I've never told anyone, but sometimes when I pass that spot, my shoes feel damp. If you ever see a bridge where one doesn't belong, don't step on it, unless you're ready to see yourself staring back. Memory number 6, the library that didn't have books. Libraries are meant to hold stories, but this one held something much more personal. I was supposed to meet a friend downtown, but I took the wrong turn and found myself in front of a library I'd never seen before. The building was tall, with black windows that reflected nothing. The door swung open before I even touched it. Inside, rows and rows of shelves stretched higher than I could see. But they weren't filled with books. Each shelf held boxes, hundreds of them, labeled in neat handwriting. I pulled one down. It had my name on it. Inside were scraps of paper, each one holding a memory I'd forgotten. My first scraped knee, the smell of my grandmother's perfume, a girl I used to sit next to in math class. As I held them, I could feel the memories slipping back into me. But then I noticed the shelves nearby. Each box had a name I didn't recognize, thousands of them, people I've never met, and some boxes were empty, waiting. The lights flickered. I put my box back and left. When I turned around, the building was gone. But I can't shake the feeling. Someone is filing me away. I can't shake the thought. If someone's collecting memories, what happens when they decide yours belongs to them? Memory number 7, the town that clapped at sunset. There are towns you stumble into that feel timeless, untouched. But sometimes traditions are older than the people keeping them. I once stayed in this little town. Not on any map, not on any GPS. Just there, past the highway, like it had been waiting for me. The streets were clean, the houses all painted in the same faded blue. People were friendly enough, though they spoke in short sentences, like they didn't want to waste words. But the strangest part came at sunset. The moment the sun touched the horizon, everyone stopped what they were doing. They turned west, and they clapped, not loud, not chaotic, just slow, even applause, rising and falling in perfect rhythm, echoing down the streets. I didn't know what to do, so I joined in. And for a second, I swear I felt the sky warm against my skin, like the sun was leaning closer, listening. When the last sliver of light disappeared, they stopped, just like that. Everyone went back to their lives like nothing happened. The next morning, I tried to leave, but every road curved me back into town. I left at sunset the next day, right after the clapping ended. The road worked then. I've never been able to find that town again. But sometimes, when the sun sets just right, my hands twitch, like they're waiting to applaud. Part of me still wants to find that town again. Another part knows it might already be waiting. Memory number 8, the hotel room that checked me in. Hotels are temporary homes meant for strangers passing through. But what if one already knows you? I booked a cheap hotel once, off the highway. One of those places with flickering signs and carpets that feel sticky no matter how new they are. When I walked in, the clerk didn't ask for my name. He just handed me a key, room 6, said it was already waiting for me. The door opened before I touched it. Inside, the lights were already on, the bed was turned down, and on the desk was a notebook with my handwriting in it. The first page said, "Welcome back." I flipped through. Every page was filled with entries, memories, things I'd done, things I hadn't, whole days I don't remember living. One entry ended mid-sentence, the same sentence I was reading at that exact moment. I slammed the book shut, grabbed my bag, and ran. But when I reached the front desk, the clerk only smiled and said, "See you next time." I never booked that hotel. I don't even remember the name. But sometimes, when I wake up in a strange bed, I check the desk, just to make sure the notebook isn't there. I don't book highway motels anymore, but sometimes when I check into a new place, I peek at the desk, just in case the notebook is waiting. These memories may not be mine, but once you've heard them, they might just become yours too. Which one stayed with you the most? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to hear more strange memories that don't quite belong, subscribe, and I'll be here with the next set. Until then, keep your eyes open, because some places never forget you.